Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Southern Gal True Crime. If this is your first time here, thank you for deciding to drop in and spend some time with me today. It is actually Saturday today. I usually do this on Fridays. This is our case of the week. It is from 2021 from Newnan, Georgia. Very sad case, as they all are. There is some resolution to this case. I'll bring you the updates to this case at the after I give you all the background information and the timeline. But before we get started, I always feature a missing person. And today's featured missing person is Adeline Ramirez. Adeline went missing from North Little Rock, Arkansas on January 28th of 2024. She is a white female. She's just 14 years old, 5'1", 135 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. So if you have any information about Adeline or her possible whereabouts, please contact the North Little Rock Police Department at 501-758-1234. And I will put a link to this information in the description box. I got this information from the Morgan Nick Foundation Facebook group. All right, well, we get into our case. This is the case of Tiffany Nicole Foster. Tiffany went missing from Newnan, Georgia in 2021. She was just 35 years old. She is still missing. Neither she nor her remains have ever been found as of 2024. You can see they're very, very beautiful lady. She had 3 children. When she went missing, she was approximately 5'2" tall, 220 pounds. Black hair, hazel eyes. It says that her hair was cut short, and she commonly wore a wig. She did have a heart-shaped tattoo that said "Big Sister 12797," and this was on her right back shoulder. She had pierced ears, a large red birthmark that extends from her back to her left arm. And she was last seen wearing a black hoodie that zipped up the back and possibly Nike shorts. So the reason that I give you this information, even though Tiffany is unfortunately presumed to be deceased, is especially in these cold cases, any kind of physical description, tattoos, scars, might help jog somebody's memory if they saw Tiffany around the time she disappeared, who she might have been seen with, things of that nature. So that is why I give this information. So like I said, she was 35 years old. She was last seen in Newnan, Georgia, March 1st, 2021. She had gone out to, left her apartment to go run some errands. She was living at the Creekside at a White Oak apartment complex, which was on Lakeside Way in Newnan, Georgia. She had 3 children. All these cases are always hard, but when it involves children who have lost a parent, it just makes it tugs on your heartstrings that much more. At the time that Tiffany disappeared, she was working as a security guard at Hello Fresh in Coweta County. And she was also studying criminal justice at Georgia Military College because she wanted to be in law enforcement. So that you would assume, or I would assume or think, that since she was a security guard, she was wanting to be in law enforcement, that she possibly could have had some self-defense training. So that might have helped her out a little bit with whoever abducted her. And there is a suspect, or two suspects that have been arrested in this case. But you would assume, like I said, that she might have had some self-defense training and maybe was able to fight back a little bit. But unfortunately, so on the slide you see there on the left is just Newnan, where she disappeared from. Like I said, it was in Coweta County in Georgia. She was last seen by her fiance, Reginald Robertson, when she left the apartment to go out grocery shopping. She never returned home. She missed her college classes the next day. Now, on March 2nd, Reginald Robertson did file a missing persons report with Coweta County when Tiffany failed to come home from running errands. On March 5th, she still hadn't shown up. She missed her scheduled shift at work, which is very unusual for Tiffany. On March 8th, about or exactly a week after she went missing, her vehicle, which was a 2020 dark blue Nissan Altima, was found abandoned in College Park, which you can see there on the left of the slide is College Park, which is about 30 miles from the apartment where she lived with her 3 children and her fiance. On March 11th, she missed a flight to Texas that she was going to take. I don't know if this was a business trip or maybe for her school or to visit family. I couldn't find that information in the articles, but at any rate, she missed her flight. When authorities found her vehicle, they did find some of her personal belongings in the vehicle. They found her purse, her debit card, keys to her home, but they did not find her cell phone. Her cell phone was not in the car. So that would make me think that whatever happened to her, that somebody took the cell phone, possibly disabled it to hide her whereabouts or her phone's whereabouts or try to conceal the whereabouts. Now we know, and this was in 2021, so we have the technology that we do in the last few years. It's a lot easier to track people's phones, even if they are disabled. You'd have to take the battery out of it or break it in some way where it wouldn't work. But the last time her phone was active was on 2:58 p.m. on the day that she went missing. And it was pinged at Amlajak Boulevard, which is in White Oak, Georgia. You see there on the slide on the left. On the bottom left of the slide is Newnan, Georgia. If you follow the blue route up to the red pin, that is White Oak, and it's only about a 10-minute drive, about 4.5 miles. So not very far away. That is the last place that her phone pinged at. But yet her car was found, like I said earlier, 30 miles from her home. Reginald Robertson, her fiance, told authorities that when Tiffany went out to run errands, that he stayed at home or stayed at the apartment with the children. Now that was his story. Keep that in mind. So this is just a picture of Amlajak Boulevard that I found on Google Maps. I don't know, this is not the exact location where her phone was found, but I just want to give you an idea of kind of what this looked like if somebody threw her phone out, was wanting to get rid of it. This would be, in my opinion, a good place to do it. You could just either stop on the side of the road or just slow down, pitch it out the window there into the side of the road. The wood is very wooded, a lot of brush there. Be very easy to conceal. As far as I know, every article, all the research I did, they've never found her phone. But it's that was the last place it pinged at, so it has to be there, or at one point it was there, but they just never found it. So on April 8th, exactly a week after Tiffany went missing, Mr. Reginald Robertson, her fiance, was arrested for stealing Tiffany's car and moving it to College Park after her disappearance. Now, at that point, sometime after that theft charge was dropped. As you can see, once again, at the very bottom left-hand side of the slide is Newnan. Follow it all the way up to the northeast is College Park. It's about a 35-minute drive. So whoever, as you can see where those green lines are going out down there in the bottom left, that is White Oak. which was said was earlier about 10 minutes, 4.5 miles. So it's possible that whatever happened to Tiffany, whoever had her car, something possibly could have happened. Most likely, in my opinion, something happened at their apartment, which is there in Newnan. They drove the car, stopped at White Oak, possibly tossed the phone out the window, 10 minutes down the road, then drove another 25 to 30 minutes up to College Park to leave her car. So you ask, how does one person do that? There were 2 people involved, allegedly. I have to say allegedly because nobody has been convicted yet. That there are 2 people involved, and like I said at the end, I will give you the updated information. So also, I would think that Tiffany's body either is somewhere around Newnan, where they lived, possibly somewhere around White Oak, since the phone was disabled or thrown out there, or that's the last place that her phone pinged at. Possibly her body could be in that area, or like I said, they could just drive 25, 30 more minutes up the road, College Park. That is where her car was found. Now, I don't know this area very well. I don't know. When I looked at it on Google Maps, it looked like you couldn't really tell how isolated or rural it was, if there were a lot of wooded areas or a park or anything up there. And it possibly could be anywhere between Newnan and College Park. That's just the sad thing about these cases, is when you don't find remains, they're so hard to find. Usually in cases like this, the remains are accidentally found by joggers, people out hiking, people out walking their dogs. So hopefully one of these days, like I said, in my opinion, her body could be anywhere. It could be in Newnan, it could be in College Park, or anywhere in between. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a professional, but that is just what I would assume. That's where I would narrow it down to. So on April 21st, Reginald Robertson was arrested on charges of kidnapping and aggravated assault for a DV incident that occurred in November of 2020 against Tiffany. When he was arrested, he was held without bond in the Coweta County Jail. So now we know that there is at least one incident of DV, possibly more incidences of DV. So there's a pattern here. We're seeing a pattern. So we fast forward to August 3rd of 2023. In 2023, they announced that Reginald Robinson was charged with felony homicide, malice homicide, concealing the death of another, SA, kidnapping, false imprisonment, forgery, and financial fraud. So he's got lots and lots of charges. Tiffany's body, like I said, has never been found, but prosecutors said at the time when they charged Robertson with all these offenses that they had enough evidence to confirm that Tiffany was deceased, unfortunately. So on October 16th of 2023, after he was arrested and charged, a Coweta County grand jury formally indicted Reginald Robertson with malice homicide, SA, concealing the death of another, financial transaction of fraud, and theft by taking. And he was re-indicted on the charges of kidnapping, aggravated assault, burglary, and false imprisonment. So they apparently, in the investigation, they found enough evidence to arrest Reginald Robertson, formally charge him. They sent it to the grand jury. The grand jury heard all the evidence. They indicted him for the homicide of Tiffany. So, who is the second person? Because remember, we talked about earlier, it would take two people to transport Tiffany's car and possibly Tiffany's body from Newnan, 30 minutes, to College Park, where they found her car. So if it was just one person, how would they get back? So on the same day, October 16th of 2023, Jeremy Arnold Walker Sr. was indicted for concealing the death of another and theft by taking. Now, apparently, Jeremy Walker was a neighbor, lived in the same apartment complex as Tiffany and Reginald Robertson at the time. And through the investigation, they found there's not a whole lot of information about Jeremy or Jeremy Walker, about what kind of evidence they had against him. This is all that I found in some of the court documents that I found on the website, and I probably will do a follow-up video, a document video, to read all the information in the document. Very, very disturbing, but it just gives you an idea of things that went on and some of the evidence that they have against these two. Started calling gentlemen. They're definitely not gentlemen, against these two men that allegedly one of them took her life, and apparently Jeremy Arnold Walker helped. So at a later date, I will do a follow-up video with a document reading. So Jeremy Walker had, I believe, when they found him, he and his girlfriend at the time had moved out of state. I think it said they might have been in Colorado. So they extradited him back to Georgia and indicted him for these two charges. So after the indictment of the two individuals, Sergeant Toby Nix of the Coweta County Sheriff's Office made a statement. He said, quote, "While the body of Tiffany Foster has not been officially recovered, the Coweta County Sheriff's Office is certain that all the evidence collected in this case confirms that she is in fact deceased." He went on to say there are other avenues and leads still in progress that may also be released at a later date. Now, I could not find any information, even in the updated article that I found, about this other leads or information. It could possibly have to do with Jeremy Walker's girlfriend at the time, the neighbor who allegedly helped at least dispose of Tiffany's body and move the car. Possibly they may think that the girlfriend had something to do with it, helped in some way, or knew some kind of information that she did not come forward with. Now, I don't know. That's speculation on my part, so take it with a grain of salt. But that's just what I would assume. So I do have an article that whenever I bring you these cases, I always like to find an article with an interview or comments from the family, and I found this one from 11alive.com, and it is from August of 2023, and it has some statements from Tiffany's sister. And it says, after missing for more than 2 years, authorities have arrested the fiance of a Newnan mother, but her body has yet to be found. Her family says the arrest has brought a sense of closure, though they still have questions about why she was taken from their lives so soon. Newnan mother Tiffany Foster, also known as Tiffany Starks, was 35 years old when she disappeared on March 1st, 2021. On Thursday, the Coweta County Sheriff's Office announced her fiance, Reginald Robertson, is accused of her homicide. For 2 years, the Newnan community helped search for Tiffany Foster alongside her family. Investigators said they followed all leads to learn that the man she lived with and called her life partner is the person who allegedly took her life. Kimberly Bryan, who is Tiffany's sister, said, quote, "He ripped away a light in our family." Her comments came less than 24 hours after learning that her missing sister was likely, her life was taken through homicide. She said it feels unfair, coupled with feelings of guilt, grief, and anger. She struggles to wrap her mind around the news. She says, "I go through all these emotions and then I still have to go to work. I still have to get up and see about my kids." She said her hope of Foster coming home ran dry when the sheriff's office announced charges against Robertson. He is facing homicide, SA, kidnapping, and concealing the death of another, among all the other charges that I read aloud earlier. Tiffany's sister goes on to say she was a good mom. She always wanted the best for her kids. She left behind 3 children who know that their mom is gone, but they don't know why. To have to look my niece in the face and my nephews, and we don't have any answers to tell them. In the research I did, it did not say, I could not find any information about who has Tiffany's children now, possibly her sister, maybe, or another member of her family, or now guardians of the children. I just feel so bad, like I said, when we have cases like this, when children are involved that lose a parent. It's just so sad, and I could not find any information about if Reginald Robertson was the father, or there was their father maybe wasn't in the picture. I couldn't find any information about that. But at any rate, I hope that the children were taken in by family members, and I'm sure they're being well taken care of and told about their mom, so they have memories about their mother. Tiffany's sister hopes that her disappearance was not in vain. She wants others who may be in an abusive relationship to know that the pain extends beyond a couple. She says, quote, "When someone is not treating you right, when someone is abusive to you, get out. Because whatever they could possibly do, it's not just going to affect you, it's going to affect their children, their other family members, sisters, mothers, brothers, whatever the case may be." Authorities have not said if Tiffany's body has been recovered or shared the manner of her death. However, investigators said after 50 search warrants and 180 pieces of evidence, they are confident in the homicide charges against Reginald Robertson. So that was some statements from Tiffany's sister. I said it's always so sad, but I do like to, because aside from the victims' families and loved ones and friends are the most important parts of these cases. And for the update, get the article. This is an article, I believe, from 2024. For it to come up. Fox 5 Atlanta, and it is from February 29th of 2024. Where the case stands 3 years after Newnan mother's disappearance. Tiffany Foster, a Newnan mother of 3, was last seen 3 years ago. Her former fiance, Reginald Robertson, has since been charged with her homicide. Tiffany disappeared on March 2nd, 2021. Robertson claimed that she had left their apartment at Lakeside Apartments in Newnan to go shopping, and later asked for the public's help in locating Foster after her disappearance. Robertson was then arrested for allegedly stealing her car, which was found in Fulton County. who was also charged with kidnapping and assault related to an earlier altercation, the DV incident, with Tiffany. He has been in jail on those charges since his arrest. In August of 2023, investigators said that they had enough evidence of, quote, horrific crimes committed against Tiffany over a 3-day period to charge Robertson. He was charged with felony homicide, malice homicide, concealing a death, false imprisonment, all the charges we went over earlier. Investigators say that he has remained uncooperative in the investigation, which remains, quote, active and ongoing, adding that they have several active leads they are pursuing, which they hope to flesh out to aid in Reginald Robertson's prosecution. It says, will Tiffany Foster's remains ever be found? That is, right now, that is the most important, in my opinion, most important part of this case. We've got the alleged offender in custody. Hopefully, if he is the offender, he will be convicted and dealt with accordingly. But we still need to find Tiffany's remains. The question that remains to be answered on this, the 3-year anniversary, is where is Tiffany Foster? Investigators say that someday returning Tiffany's remains to her family will continue to be a top priority. Coweta County Sheriff's investigator Stacy Beckham said, quote, we are confident that one day we will be able to locate those remains. Investigators say one man who may hold the answer is 46-year-old Jeremy Walker. He was we talked about earlier, the neighbor that was indicted for concealing the death of another and theft. Very little has been reported in the media on Walker's connection to the case. Investigators say that he was a neighbor in the same apartment complex as Tiffany and Robertson at the time of Tiffany's disappearance. Investigators have charged him with concealing her death and stealing her car. He is accused of allegedly working directly with Robertson after the homicide. Tiffany's family, they had her memorial service. Anyone with information in this case is urged to call the Coweta County Sheriff's Office. So that is the update in Tiffany's case. So like I said earlier, in my opinion, if Mr. or Reginald Robertson and Jeremy Walker are the ones that are responsible for this homicide, for taking the life of Tiffany, hopefully they will be dealt with accordingly. And the most important thing now is to hopefully some way, somehow find Tiffany's remains, bring her back to her family so she can be laid to rest, and the family can continue with their grieving process, start their healing process. So thoughts, prayers, and good vibes, as always, go out to family, friends, and loved ones of Tiffany. And we just hope, like I said, hopefully someday soon there will be resolution, and Tiffany will be found. So that is the case of Tiffany Robertson. Please, I encourage you, please share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, any social media platforms, any true crime groups that you're in, missing person groups, to help get this information out to as many people as possible. That's the most important thing. That is why I do what I do, is to get this information out to everybody everywhere. So if you found this video interesting, informative, please give it a thumbs up before we get out of here. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Like, shares, comments, all those things help channels like mine. The information gets pushed out to as many people as possible. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. I do put links to articles and other things on the Facebook group and the page that I do not put here on YouTube, so you get extra content. So please do check it out. If you ever have any questions or comments, you can email me at the email address below. If you have a case that is dear to your heart, you might have known the victim, happened in your hometown, your home state, or just any case that you are aware of that you think needs more attention, email it to me. Victim's name, state it happened in, any information you have. I will research it and I will do a case of the week on it, included in my Missing Person Monday video. Anything I can do to help bring more awareness to it, I will do that. If you would like to help support the channel and bring more awareness and to the missing and the search for the missing, I have several ways you can donate to the channel. All the links can be found in the description box of this video or in the About section of my page. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it very much. Until next time, please be careful out there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your fellow human beings. That is the most important thing we can do, is take care of our fellow human beings. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.